everybody. I'm Josslyn Glenn with MUSE TV. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing pretty great. Glad to see you all. I'd like to direct my question to Tony and Pat, and ideally Clarence, but Clarence is not here today. He's always a delight to speak to. I'd like to start with, well, this within the past 20 years, we've seen advances in biotechnology that have acquitted many individuals in the Black community who have been wrongly convicted of various charges from as small as marijuana charges to as large as murder charges. So, with that said, justice cannot exist if trauma prevails among the system impacted. So, in this story, we follow a young Black female geneticist caught up on the crossroads of big pharma, technology, and the law, and especially Lance, who both enforces the law and is also kind of a symbol of the type of person the law targets. So, were there any news outlets or headlines and visual references that you employed when writing the script? And then for Lawrence, Crystal, and Summer in particular, there's no official category for stunts. So, if there in a hypothetical world there were a stunts category for the Oscars or anything like that, why would you nominate your stunt performer for their performance in this movie?
Why don't we answer the first part just about the storyline and the script? So Pat or Tony, you guys want to?
Yeah, you want to go first?
Oh, mute. You're on mute.
Sorry,
Yeah,
you want to go?
I got it quicker this time. Thanks, Pierre. Um, so you're asking like what we referenced in regards to Danny and her situation, and I would say just referencing the news, whatever. As a writer, I get ideas just from casually watching the news, and then things spark inside of me, and I get very passionate about it. And then I jot it down. I have to follow this up. I have to write this. I can't think of anything specific, but just there's so much injustice going on generally. And I really felt like she was a great character in this movie to show us how you believe in yourself and rely on your personal strength and your ability to get through the mountain. And, we all have these struggles on a regular basis, but I just thought I thought the character was a great example of how to just keep at it and keep going through. So I'm not sure if I answered you specifically on what inspired, but it's just generally the injustices that I've seen, you know, in the news outlets that got me going on this. Tony, what do you think?
I thought it's a great question, by the way. I thought for me, I think that all you have to do is be in the world to be inundated with the con that's currently going on. I mean, you have a commercial and it's for a pharmaceutical drug, and then really quietly in the background they tell you everything that it's going to kill you with, but buy it anyways because everybody's really happy. And this is the grift that's currently going on in the pharmaceutical industry right now, which, by the way, all the research is paid through tax dollars. So we're paying for this thing that they're inflicting on us right now. We actually fuel this with our own dollars because R&D is supported in part by a lot of sort of government grants. And so, but to me, this was just a big con in just the history of how medicine is sort of weaponized against people, is a real thing. And if you have family members who take one drug, they're getting a little older, and so they take this drug, but now they have to take that drug because this drug to counteract that drug. And it's just this entire descending cycle of stuff. And I think there's something criminal about that. And so for me, it felt totally timely to tell a story about how a drug company has one face, but then when you kind of dig a little bit, no, it's just a grift and people are going to get hurt, but they don't think about it that way. They don't consider what they're really doing. I think, and even the meanest characters in this, even the sort of evil characters where we like to put quotes, and I never say that to any of the actors that they should judge their characters because I think they have their own reasons for doing what they're doing. But I think they don't think about it. They don't think about it in the same way that what ends up on their table for food, what the process of what certain food the journey that food, the torturous, journey some of the food that ends up on their table has to take is not something they consider at all either. So I think there's a disassociation at work. And so for me, taking obviously the script and how this was set up, I just used what is kind of around us on a daily basis. All you have to do is kind of look, and it's there, sadly.
Thank you. And Crystal, Summer, Lawrence.
I would definitely give the award. Are we on the stunts question?
Yes.
Okay. I would definitely give, and forgive me, I cannot remember her name, but I was going through my phone to find a picture. So that was my stunt double. I can't think of her name, but she was one of the stunt doubles on Black Panther. So I was like, yes. So I would definitely give her the award because she was kicking butt. She was kicking butt. And then I didn't know we're dressed alike. Obviously, your stunt double has to be dressed alike. And then I think there's a moment where she takes her jacket off, or we were probably on downtime and she took her jacket off and she had guns. And I was like, I need them all. I need those arms. So I was glad that my arms didn't have to match up to her arms because, yeah, give her all the awards. All the awards.
Yeah, I got to give my man Victor the award. He was amazing. He's not just a talented martial artist and athlete, but he's an actor. So like I'm watching Video Village, watching the monitor, watching him move. And before the combat, like he's walking like me. Like he's embodying my version of Lance into the choreography. And he's also a wonderful teacher because, I would do the choreography up into a point. So he's walking me through it, but also like making sure we're moving the same exact way. So when I'm watching parts of the film, I'm like, is that me? I know it's not me because I can't throw a kick that cool, but it could be me. So yeah, he gets the award for sure.
Can I say one thing about that? Because my stunt coordinator, I did something like a square up to fight, which was out of sequence of what they did. And I just did it naturally. And then when I was watching the monitor, they were redoing and she was squaring up. And I said, wait, she was like, oh, no. We saw that you squared up. So we gonna square up in the moment, which made sense to me because that's how I would approach a fight. So like Lawrence is saying, like them again, they're artists. So if they're playing you, right, they have to mimic that movement and mimic that world. But I was like, oh, they're gonna put that in there. Oh, I love that. So yeah.
Thank you. And Miss Summer, Miss
Yes.
Producer UPM.
I was going to
here.
say absolutely. The fact that Casey and Heidi, I had two doubles. The fact that they not only did such incredible performances and that Corey and Victor, who were doing the choreography with them, were there every day. I was really nervous because I was afraid that I was going to look silly doing the pieces, and I really didn't want Nadine to look silly. And the thing that everybody kind of did was, in our downtime, they would practice with me and they really empowered me to feel confident enough that when I was throwing the punches, I felt like it elevated me to a whole different level as an actor because there was such artistic support from really precision fighters. Like these guys are precision fighters. And so they empowered me to feel like I could do just enough of it that it would sell. And then thank God for the editing. Let's give a little amen to Don Money right now for editing to make it look seamless.
Yes.
So yeah, everybody wins. Everybody wins. When the dream team comes together, everybody wins. So thank you guys.
And with that said, you are all winners in my eyes. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day and a brilliant press campaign for you as the movie comes out. Thank you, folks. Bye.